Okay.
Wow.
Mhm. Hi guys, good evening. It's me again, Dr. Jenny Yusuf, physical therapist and doctor of physical therapy. If you are in Philippines, magandang umaga. And if you are in Qatar or United Arab Emirates, salam alaikum everyone. So every Thursday, we always highlight innovators, academicians, therapists, and businessmen. We always wanted to learn from the expert, their knowledge, a little bit of their tips for us clinicians, and entrepreneurs. All right. So for tonight, I hope you will learn more and more about having business. Many of our clinicians wanted to learn more about having their own business. They wanted to be in cash base or maybe treat some telehealth or having their own business in different niche even not clinician or physical therapy wise. So we have our wonderful interview tonight. We have Mike Gorritz. He is the CEO and founder of Org Dev Grp. It's more an organizational development foundation. We will learn more about it. And Mike Gorritz is almost like 11 years at the backbone of very wonderful company. He used to be a clinician support in the HR and then grow more and transition in different organizational development of the amazing Avant Healthcare, which is my company where I am transitioning to be an physical therapist. So I was in UAE before and then I transitioned here in America. So thank you so much, Mike. So I would love to introduce to you Mike Goritz with the Balance and Falls and Physiogen. Hi, Mike. Good evening.
Hi. Thank you so much for having me, Dr. Yusuf. This is great. And I do want to say that, through Avant, you were phenomenal in all that you do. And we just, we could not brag about you more in the things that you accomplished while you were doing your transition. So big shoes to fill. Anybody who came after you to Avant, they definitely have big shoes to fill because you did amazing.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Yeah, I am so proud that I was able to connect with you. Even I'm already done with my transition for 2 years with my first employee, and then I have already I really have, imagine I'm in Delaware. I was based from Avant already sent me to Delaware. I said, where's Delaware? I don't
Yeah.
even know what is Delaware. I know Washington, D.C. And then they said, it's close to Washington. And I have a friend in Maryland also. Now it's giving me a picture and how
Hmm.
small it is. And from that time, I'm still here.
Wow.
I'm still here
Yeah.
and I love
And
the
that happens a lot.
place.
Typically, people come to the US, the thought behind what's in the US, you think New York City, you think Miami, you think California cities, but to think a city in Delaware or even your Nebraska or some of those other states, you're like, is that's not real? And people turn out to actually love the lifestyle and the way they're treated. So it's that's so true.
Yes, that's really good. So thank you so much for helping us new physical therapists back then. So I remember you are more on the employee support and then you're coming in, explaining to us our benefits, what to expect. And you
Hmm.
talk about now you are coaching and consultant as
Hmm.
the organizational development coach. And tell us more because we in physical therapy, we are not only when we want to have a business, we majority now has their alternate career. They're
Hmm.
not only a physical therapist as a clinician, majority have their outpatient, and now
Hmm.
some have a nonprofit, some are on the coaching, like you doing
Hmm.
consultancy, and some are others having a different career path, like coffee. I have even a colleague that has their
Wow.
own, yeah, I have even a physical therapy couple that has her own brand in the skincare. You'll never
Oh,
know.
that's excellent.
So, yes, yes. So we are all over with the skills, but we want to get your brain. So why having this organizational skills and development important? And before that, tell us a little bit of your transition to know you us more,
Yeah. So,
to know you more, I mean.
when I was with Avant Healthcare, From 2015 until present day, we were able to achieve the 7-time Inc. 5000 category. And even last year, Avant was able to achieve the regional Inc. 5000 award. And so what the Inc. 5000 is the 5,000 fastest growing companies in the US. And so Avant, because of the demand of the industry, was able to scale very quickly as a result of the demand. So nursing, physical therapy, which is where you came through. And what comes with that type of growth and that kind of exposure to so many changes is that you develop a significant skill set when it comes to leadership, process development, all sorts of infrastructure necessities of the business. And so as I learned those things, as I was in a leadership role, helping the other leaders to grow and so forth, it was time for me to transition into this endeavor that I'm on now, which is my own consulting firm, Org Dev Grp, and we are really. I'm certified organizational developer. Basically, what that means is we're business architects. So we look at the business and we work on the strategy of the business. So we're looking to help the business move from a position of their current state, wherever they are today, to where their future state is. So if they have a vision of where they're trying to go, whether that's revenue or if that's a certain client base, or maybe they want a franchise, there's a gap between where you are today and where you are in the future. And there's systems that are required to be built in order for you to get to that future state. And that's what organizational development does. It's about systems, it's about people, it's about processes in order to get to that future state. So a lot of change management, a lot of strategy involved with that. And so, what we're coming in contact with now are businesses of all sizes, your micro businesses, your small, even your enterprise size companies that need organizational development because of the changes that are happening right now. I mean, think of, for even in the clinician experience, you've got changes because of COVID. So you had the pre-COVID environment, you had COVID, and now we're in a post-COVID environment. You have changes in employee behavior, customer behavior, technology changes all the time. That's causing people a lot of anxiety to keep up with changes. And business leaders sometimes don't know what to do. Organizational development by category takes all of that confusion, which we love, and all the change, and we make it into systems that are easy to digest and that we can move those endeavors along so the business doesn't stop, the business continues to grow, but in a healthy way. So in a nutshell, that's who we are and that's what we do.
That's really complex, right? You're solving lots of problems. So when we say solving lots of problem, what is specific problem you can solve? For a physical therapist like us, let's say, there are many different kinds of therapists nowadays. They wanted to be on their own, like a clinician, and have their own consultancy. That's a coaching, and some are in an outpatient that is a bigger form, like a clinic. How can you help them? Because that's a little bit different, right? So when I
Right.
say clinician, any clinician, they can be speech, dietitian, or any therapist.
Yeah. I think the biggest thing, the biggest difference between one of those sciences that you mentioned and going into the business realm is the clarity around what you're selling. What am I selling? What is my process? Who are my customers? What is the journey of the customer as it relates to their contact with me and my business? What can they expect? How do I execute on my engagement with my customer on the internal end? So you have your external journey map that you have with your clients, but you also have an internal process of how exactly you're going to deliver on whatever product or service your client is buying. So on the clinical aspect, you might have some very principal things that you do, and your system that you would carry out when you're delivering patient care. But it's another thing when you're thinking from a sales perspective, when you're trying to capture a market. How broad is your market base? How niche are you making it? What region are you trying to get a hold of? Who are your competitors? So from an organizational development perspective, we would look at it from a systemic perspective. So do you have those things in place? And if you do, what is the funnel that will allow you to get your sale? What is the funnel that would allow you to actually get your client, your first paid client, and getting that contract signed? There's contracting involved. There's collections involved. There's your accounting involved. Now, we don't do all that stuff, but
Mm-hmm.
we will help establish the system so that you can, get into operating on your own. So yeah. So again, I think that would be the primary starting point is, do you even have a business to begin with? Meaning, what is your product or service that you're offering? And is there a demand for what you are offering? That's the business. And all the
Yes.
systems associated with being able to operate the business, it's way more than just carrying out your typical, physical therapy session, speech language
Mm-hmm.
session. There's so much more involved because now you're a business owner. You're operating a
Yeah.
business. There's liability. There's
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
taxes involved. There's, your brand equity. So making sure that the things that you do are increasing your brand. Um, so many things that you need to do. You
Wow.
should expect to work long hours, at least in the beginning.
Oh, yes, knowing what is your niche and then also the people that you want to serve, knowing what is
Exactly.
your why, and you
Mm-hmm.
also help us where's the location or what is your brand. So when
Exactly.
you talk about that, so you're not only doing, let's say, a hard things, like you also have the soft, like what we call digital. Do you have a social media person, knowing that social media is really in demand to assist them in their growth, because it's a little bit more on a little bit of
Yeah.
social media marketing?
Yeah.
Do
Social
you teach
media
them as well?
is essential. Yeah. You need an online presence. It's essential.
Mm-hmm.
For our company, we hired social media people to
Okay.
be able to do some things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we are in business with and are helping social media
Okay.
clients that are
Mm-hmm.
looking to grow their business. So that's for us, from an organizational development perspective, we don't do marketing, but
Uh-huh.
we may
Uh-huh.
have a connection. Once we know what your
Yes.
system is, then we can connect you with somebody who knows how to do and works in that marketing space. That's a whole
Mm-hmm.
different arena. But i
That's
would i
true.
would absolutely say invest in marketing and invest in that. That's the only way you're going to get clients in, is if
Mm-hmm.
either you have a social media presence or you're in the community active face to face, in those different environments where you can get referrals. If you don't have either one of those, you're kind of in trouble.
Yes, because how they will know this is what you serve, right?
Right.
Yes, and also your expertise. They need to know that you're knowledgeable. Oh, this is the person, right person for me. They will help me, things like that. All right.
Exactly.
How about your challenges, Mike, in this organizational development of your company? What are the challenges that you recently um solved, that you want to share with us?
Yeah, from my company personally, I think one of the biggest challenges is a uh, taking what is traditionally a more philosophical approach to the workplace, meaning um, organizational development. We deal with systems, we deal with some of the tangible aspects of the business. There's the intangible things of the business, like how people feel, how changes in the company will impact dynamics of the culture, how turnover can decrease morale in the organization.
Mhm,
Those are
mhm.
things that we have to look at, we have to measure, and we have to also help create systems that will overcome those challenges. And so, for me, it was finding a way to create what is sometimes the intangible and make them into tangible things that my customers can understand. That when we're in a room of people that have no idea what organizational development is,
Mhm.
being able to communicate very clearly, here's what we do, here's what we offer, in a language that they can understand. And
Yes.
once we were able to establish that, the meetings, the presentations, the networking just became so much easier. We went from being frustrated to now, having to in some cases decide, what, this is not the right client for us. We're in that position because we know and we're able to communicate who we are more clearly. And again, I think that's the biggest challenge for any consultants in general, is taking what would be intangible deliverables and making them into something that could be understood.
That's really nice. Yeah, you're able to solve that. That's really difficult and tough. And of course, also how to begin and also money, nowadays it's really tough and also the people.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I think any new business venture, looking at the clients that we've worked with, um, capital is everything, right? Because if you don't have cash, you don't have money, you don't have a business.
Mhm,
And so
mhm,
making sure that there is a, clarity around collections, clarity around how the funnel is going to go from my service to my pocket, that's important. If not, you don't have a business, you have a hobby. Um, so those are some of the challenges that we see with companies that don't have a proof of concept, and that's what's very important. Some companies will whether it's tech companies, or you mentioned coffee, right? So maybe it's like a
mhm,
coffee shop,
mhm,
and it may seem like a great idea and a passion project, but is there a demand for that? Can you create a demand for that? And ultimately, is that something that will will survive that beginning stage where there's no revenue coming in, where you're in the negative, where things are somewhat challenging? um, that's where you need to pass that proof of concept phase. Once you have a business, you have customers, you're starting to refine what your business actually is, who we are, what we do,
mhm,
then you can grow. And that's where, again, where if we think organizational development's concerned and the systems that are needed, all that starts to get established in the beginning, the
mhm,
identity, but then the
mhm.
execution starts to get built. And that's where OD is so necessary kind of going forward.
Oh, that's a short term OD,
Yeah, OD.
organizational development. Yeah, I only know OD in the medical term.
Right.
Especially nowadays, I always watch, those like action thriller, the Special Victims Unit 911. So I only know OD.
Right. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I don't
Oh,
say it too much, because it could be confused with something else. But yeah.
yeah. But at least we talk about it for a
There you
while,
go.
organizational
There
development. So
you
they
go.
know what we're talking about.
Exactly.
So that's really nice to know. You talk about that money investment niche and then what you're looking for a customer. So with the market, can you say that you can serve people as long they have a business in their mindset, a small or big goal, like a small business and a big business, you can serve them?
Yeah, so
Can you
there's
give me a
various
sample?
tiers. Yeah, there's various tiers of businesses, right? You have your
Oh, okay.
startups, which your startups are at the concept phase. They're
Okay.
creating a proof of concept. They're really like in the business modeling phase of things. Micro businesses is where they have probably less than 5 employees. They have some
Mhm.
traction around customers, and many businesses stay in that micro business realm, even if they do hit 250, 300, maybe $500,000 in revenue a year, their operations is still very small, and that's okay. But for organizational development purposes, we have solutions that could help the
Mhm.
micro business if they desire to just be more efficient,
Okay.
or they desire to scale from micro to small. And your small
Mhm.
business generally is anywhere between 5 and 200 ish employees,
Mhm.
so there's a significant
Okay.
range there.
That's big.
um, and then you have your medium-sized businesses, your large companies, and then your enterprise. For us, in what I do, your micro small businesses are usually where we like to help companies. The whole
Okay.
idea behind our business is we're taking tools, resources, um, and systems from your enterprise, large companies that use this all the time, and bringing those concepts into a smaller context where these companies generally don't see it. They don't know what these things are.
Mhm.
And we been to so many meetings of room full of small business owners, and we're asking them very specific tools, and they've never seen these things. They don't know how to be more efficient. They don't know how to scale. And so these tools and resources help those small businesses eventually achieve, perhaps if they want to, your
Mhm.
medium-sized level. But they don't have to. They can just generate more revenue. They can be more efficient without hiring so many people. If they do need to hire people, they're true to their culture. They have more synergy, and it's just a healthier company all around.
That's really nice. Thank you. So this is the right time for them to approach you, to consult you like as a consultant to ask some questions because they're just beginning, right? So
Correct.
especially when they're trying to begin, they're in the middle of growth. So those are the right time to check more on
Yeah,
is my
if they believe they
organizational.
have
Mm-hmm.
correct, they believe they have a vision for the future, and they have a business model. They're at the point where they've already proven the concept of
Yeah.
their business has a customer base, and they're
Mm-hmm.
starting to build some momentum. The ball is somewhat rolling.
Okay.
That's a great time to say, okay, here's where we are, and we're
Okay.
in talks with companies that in some cases the company that I'm thinking of, 40 years they've been in business, and they are, still very much pushing the ball.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas you have another company that's only been in business for 5 years and they're
Mm-hmm.
running, but they're running so fast. They're like, I don't think we have the right systems for that capacity. So they've hit the brakes. There's so many different situations that you can find yourself in. It's the question of, do you know you have a company, you've proven the concept, and now the ball's rolling. Someone like myself is actually absolutely perfect to connect with. But it's important. I want to put this out there. It's very
Mm-hmm.
important that if anyone's looking to connect with a consultant in general, be
Mm-hmm.
business consultant specifically, be
Yeah.
careful in the stage of business that you would be in that smaller realm, um, not to connect with business consultants that will only give you theoretical or philosophical advice. You want business consultants that will give you tangible deliverables, so an actual action plan with follow up, with resources at a minimum. See, my business is a little bit different. Our consulting firm actually is hands-on with the business and building some of these tools and
Mm-hmm.
working together with the business owner. A lot of
Okay.
consulting firms don't do that. They don't go to that level, and that's okay. But my
Mm-hmm.
advice would be, if you're going to be connect with a business consultant, just make sure that you're kind of vetting through what they're giving you. And if it's really heavy on philosophy, if it's really heavy on the theoretical, and you don't actually get tangible assets, or you don't see progression
Mm-hmm.
measured, I would pump the brakes and just say, okay, I need to reset and maybe consider somebody else.
Yes, that's good point. Can you tell me more, Mike, like a sample of specific companies that you're working with? Like is it like big companies? Like is it like a bank? Is it like a small like a parlor? Is it
Yeah, yeah,
Amazon?
yeah. We work with
That's really huge, right?
we have nonprofit companies.
Okay.
We're still doing some consulting with Avant, which is great.
Yes, so that's
Um,
big. Mm-hmm.
we've got insurance company, marketing firm. Um,
Okay.
those are it's just an array of different organizations that really, organizational development tools and resources can help any organization, industry wise, any size company. Our niche would be in the small business realm. I would like to kind of stay in the 10 to 100, 200 employee range. But
Okay, so
we
that's big.
we have a couple clients that are in the micro space, and they're phenomenal. We have a production company. We have
Mm-hmm.
the marketing firm that we're working with. They're micro, but they're phenomenal to work with. And then you have your
Mm-hmm.
enterprise companies. You have your bigger organizations. We've done some leadership development work with Advent Health. I don't know if you remember Advent when you were
Yes, I
out here.
I heard that
Yeah.
too. Also in
So we've
different
done
states, we
some,
don't have
yeah.
it
So we've
here.
done some leadership development build out for them as well. So
Mm,
where the need is, we can kind of
okay.
figure out what that is accordingly.
So we can call micro if they are less than five, less than 10
Yeah,
employees.
less
That's
than
a
five is
micro.
is most appropriate, right?
They call it micro. Okay. That's really huge because that's a financial company. I also work in Aegon, like a financial company that's in insurance, and also that's very huge. And then you have Avon marketing, you talk about that. All right. So guys, if you really you're listening right now and you would love to learn more about business, what is organizational, why it's very important, you connect with Mike. Last one, Mike, can you give us some tips like some books or different courses that you want to share with us as a resource for people who wanted to learn more about improving their business that they are right now, like
Yeah, I mean,
leadership or
there's a lot
something
of
like that.
great, yeah, there's a lot of great authors. I think, depending on the space that you're in, a good one would be Patrick Lencioni. He is the author of Five Dysfunctions of a Team, The Advantage. His books are fiction books. He has a really nice way to write books. His books are fiction books, so he gives you a story, and then after the story of the book, he gives you actual ways to govern your company from hiring. So there's tools on hiring, there's tools on establishing your culture, there's tools on leadership development. So he's a really good resource. Would be probably a nice way to start. Could be that. John Maxwell, can't go wrong with any John Maxwell books, even though John Maxwell can be pretty heavy on the philosophy and in the theoretical aspect of it, which is good. It'll get you out of bed. It'll give you a direction. It'll give you motivation. But I would look for more of those books, like I said, like a Patrick Lencioni, that will give you some tangible assets that when you look at it, there's resources that you can actually walk away with that will help you with your business. So that's a good start there.
That's really nice. So, guys, you're watching and listening right now to one of a business owner, a CEO and a founder of organization. So just give us a 1 minute, let's say, what is your day looks like? What is your hobby? Like, are you waking up? Your tips. This is like your tips. Don't describe us what you really do. But what is your advice for us to be successful like you as a beginner, as a founder, CEO, beginning from an employee, now having your own employee company? And then let's say, do we need to read books? I know, like wake up earlier, do still the gym, something like that. For us beginners and uh, who wanted to have our own company, can you give us your
Yeah.
tips to be successful like you
No,
might?
that great question. So I'll tell you, pretty much my schedule, waking up at 5 or 5:30, making sure that I'm physically awake, meaning making sure I'm drinking water in the morning, getting hydrated, doing a little bit of exercise, and then going right into the day. So by 6 o'clock, the day is started. So either I'm knocking out emails, I'm finishing a project before my morning huddle with my business partner. I have a business partner. And so before our morning huddle at 8 o'clock, I should have already gotten 2 hours of solid work done out of the way, before I start having any phone calls. That non-distracted time is so crucial, especially if you have a family. So I have a daughter, I have my wife, and that can be distracting if they're up and
Yes.
they're walking around and everything. I want to make sure I'm focused, getting that out of the way. And then for the rest of the day, uh, making sure that we've planned the day, not the day of. Plan the week prior, making sure that the next day's been planned, already 1 or 2 days in advance. You want to make sure that you have that, constant capacity in your calendar, so that if you're looking to actually get business going, you got to have meetings. You've got to be on phone calls. You've got to work on building your customer base. And so work life balance, in the immediate future, it's going to take some time. So I would say work life balance is a goal, but if you're launching your business, that's going to be very difficult unless you already have your customer base before you started. You know exactly how much you want to make. You already have those customers in place, and you're satisfied with that. Then you could be able to navigate that. If you're starting from zero and you're jumping in full time, or you have a full time job and you're trying to build it afterwards, I'm sorry to say there's no work-life balance. There's going to be nights where you have to put the kids to bed and keep working till midnight, perhaps even 1 o'clock in the morning to finish whatever project you have or whoever you're contacting, any research you need to do. So I need, for me, my day could go from 5:30 in the morning until midnight or later, with some breaks in between. Obviously, I'm
Yeah,
just working, like, there's going to be some breaks in between. I'll pick up my daughter from school, I'll eat, take a shower, that kind of thing.
yeah,
But just know you're going to put in 10, 12, maybe even 14 hours a day while it starts to build momentum. And then you can enjoy the luxuries of taking some time off and all of that. But
yeah.
if you're dedicated to your business, to making it succeed, got to wake up early, got to be okay going to bed late, at least for a time period, but stay healthy by drinking water, stay healthy by eating right and doing exercise, stretching, all the physical therapy stuff that, I mean, I
Yes.
learned from just being part of that organization. So crucial, so crucial that you're taking care of yourself physically. If not, you're not, it's going to be hard.
That's right. Oh my goodness, that's really amazing. Lots of tips tonight, guys. Business wise and also motivation. And I believe as a coach, you really need to balance that because you need
Yeah.
to have your knowledge in the business which you're selling and which you're coaching. But at the end, there's a psychological there that you really need to motivate them, ask them deeply, why this business, and then throughout the process, you're thinking, oh, I think you are better in this kind of business because that's how I see your personality.
There, I mean,
Maybe,
I don't think that's a true. You nailed it. You nailed it. I mean,
yeah,
from one's individual perspective, there's days where you just think, why am I doing this? Like, this is,
that's true.
I'm a failure, because some days go horrible, some days go amazing. Sometimes in the same day, it's horrible and amazing, and you don't know how to
Mhm.
feel. You got to stay motivated by, really, why are you doing it in the first place? That
Yeah,
mission statement, that vision statement, your core values. And at
yes,
least for me
core values.
personally, the people I have around me are crucial. My business partner, if I didn't have my business partner, I honestly, I don't know how far we would be able to be right now. Um, if I didn't have my supportive family, I don't know
Mm-hmm.
where we would be. So having the right people around you, and then knowing your
Yes.
limits. You can do
Okay.
social media, you can do these things, or do you need to hire somebody for that? Do you need
Mm-hmm.
to
Mm-hmm.
partner with somebody that maybe can do you some favors? Um, Getting people involved, I think,
Yes.
is key to that.
That's true. I remember we have our mentor and coach before. It's more on the physical therapy, but business as well. Greg Todd, he says that you are the five person around you. You need to be around those people who are doing successful things. And inside the room, you should be the dumbest person in the room. You know what I mean? That why you will be in the room that you already know things. You don't want to keep talking inside the room because you want to be a listener with all these amazing people. Like in your team, you are in a
Absolutely.
company. Of course, you will hire people that is knowledgeable than you because you
Right.
want their knowledge embedded in the company's growth, right? So that's really important as what you've said. Be around people who will give you positivity, give you
Yes.
motivation, not pulling you down, your energy. I remember in those Facebook, like there's a black energy, you get it, and then at the end of the day, your battery is low bat because you keep getting your energy to
Well,
everybody.
in the world of business, you're going to confront a lot of that just by engaging in bad
Mm-hmm.
business deals or unsuccessful meetings. That's going to be there. If you go on
Mm-hmm.
top of that by surrounding yourself with people that are not beneficial to your forward endeavor, or that are
Mm-hmm.
going to help with getting you where you need to go, it's going to be even harder. So what you're saying,
Wow.
it makes sense for that reason
Mm-hmm.
alone, because you're going to have your share of tough days. But
Yes,
if you know your why, if you have the right people around you
that's
that
right.
are in the key roles, then you'll be able to start to move the needle.
That's really good. And leadership, right? You said Jan Maxwell, that's really wonderful also to learn. And then they need to read. We need to read. Yeah, like you're saying, you're learning, you're trying to be healthy in your own ways. So that's really, we're really thankful of all those tips. So how can we connect with you? If we are listening here, we would love to build our business, or we know somebody who wanted to learn more about you. So, Mike, how can we connect with you?
Absolutely. You can go to orgdevgrp.com. There's an assessment at the top right of the website. It's a free assessment. Take the assessment about your business. You'll get a free report, and then you'll have an opportunity to schedule time with me. So I'll give you a time slot free of charge to be able to connect, just to see and find out more about you. So that's really a primary way to do that. You can also shoot me an email, mikeg@orgdevgrp.com. That's Mike G@orgdevgrp.com, and send me an email, and I'm happy to connect, schedule time as well, so that we can show you more. But I'll always lead people to the website first, because the assessment is so powerful to know where your business is today. So take the free assessment. It takes 30 seconds. Literally takes 30
Oh,
seconds.
that's
Enter your
fast.
information, schedule time, and then that's it.
That's a fast assessment. So that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So saving time, time management. Thank you so much, Mike.
Thank
You're
you. Thank you
squeezing
so much,
us
Dr.
on your
Yusuf.
busy schedule. We clinicians, we are therapists. We love to learn more about entrepreneur. We are so happy we have a business-minded people in our podcast to learn more about this. So thank you
My
again
pleasure.
for
My
all
pleasure.
everything you shared to us. So guys, if you have any questions, wanted to learn more, or on the fence of having or building your company or any business, not even clinician like therapy related, because sometimes we wanted to learn more in different career growth. So connect with Mike, and Mike Gorritz for from organizational development. So that's Org Dev Group. All right. You can also connect with him in LinkedIn. He's very active there. He even have, I believe, some podcast or blog that he's doing. So you will learn more about that. So connect with him and check him out. Mike Goritz in LinkedIn. All right. Thanks, Mike. Have a
Thank
blessed
you.
night. And thank you guys for connecting with us and listening. So again, Balance and Fall Support Group. So it's me, Dr. Jenny, Yusuf Physical Therapist and Doctor of Physical Therapy, Vice Chair of Geriatric or Global Health in Aging Adults in APTA Special Interest Group. Be safe there, guys, in the CSM. We have combined section meetings right now in California, Mike. Mike, by the way, where are you right now?
In Orlando, Florida.
So yeah,
Beautiful weather.
so it is based in Florida as well, your company. All right.
But
So
we can
guys,
help
thank you.
people all over. So we're
Yes.
not
So
limited to Florida.
it is based in Florida, but he can serve anybody. All right. Even international or only here in
We can make
US?
it happen. We can figure that out.
Wow.
Absolutely.
Yes, that's the power of consultancy and coaching,
Exactly.
right? Thank you guys. Have a blessed night. Take
Take care.
care. Bye, Mike.